Welcome to 6 Degrees of Purpose, the series in which we explore the trends shaping our relationship with wealth, money, and meaning. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and we would love to hear your feedback, thoughts, and comments.
Today, we welcome Dr. Sol Rogers, one of the UK's most established figures in immersive technology. A university lecturer for 15 years before co-founding Rewind in 2011 with Matthew Allen, which then went on to be acquired in their 10th anniversary by Magnapus. Sol shares with us his journey from childhood to having his twin boys, including the lessons, purpose, and passion throughout that journey. This is not to be missed. Hi Sol, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So I'm going to go straight in with, you were a university lecturer for 15 years. And then you moved into Rewind.
Yeah.
How did that journey evolve?
I got really lucky, I think. I started very young as a lecturer at university and wrote 4 degrees in 2D, 3D games art and visual effects, and then worked in emerging tech and filmmaking. And I just realized that after about 10 years, I was living a little bit of Groundhog Day, and the passion that I'd put in when I started my career was fading a little bit. And I'd always thought, how hard can it be to start a company? So I thought I'd do it. It's really hard, like really, really hard. And in fact, if I'd probably go back and give myself advice, it might have not been take a swing, honestly. It was just, when running a business is super easy when it works. When the wind's in your sail, anybody could do it. But when the wind drops, you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, especially if it's founder-led, especially when it's like the future of your family. So So I moved across, co-founder and I started the business, and we just started small. Do some work, get paid for it, make sure you get paid more than it costs you to do it. It's not, in quotes, difficult. And then we hit our stride with emerging tech, with AR and VR, and now into AI, that we always got known to be the company doing the next stuff, which was really fun.
How helpful was it having a co-founder, especially when that wind got knocked out your sails?
Yeah, I think it's a stronger relationship than a marriage in some ways, if you find the right ones. And you have to be yin and yang. You can't both be exactly the same personality type. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't be able to support each other. So being quite extrovert, my job was to go and find out what we do next. Get out front, get out there, find opportunity, find partnerships. And his job was, after I'd hunted and killed something, to throw it back through the door. His was skin it, cook it, deal with it. And my job, go back out and find what's next. And so actually we worked really, really well. But yeah, in the tough times, we've got a deeper bond than family. We are brothers more than anything else.
And it sounds like quite a nice division of labour as well between you both. It sounds quite clear what your both expertise looks like and skill set.
Not at the beginning. At the beginning, we just did everything because you do. Yeah. And I always say we flipped a coin at one point and I lost. So I had to do the business bit. So I had to stop being creative and stop doing making the things on the box. But I managed to pivot it being into the company is a big game. You can solve it. How do I make this happen? How do I do that happen? But my job then became spreadsheets and phone calls.
As exciting as it sounds.
Yeah. The phone calls are very exciting. Figuring out what a company's trying to do and how you can help them do it. Very much at the beginning of the business was service-led, making projects and things and content and movies and interactive installations. So you're always trying to figure out what helps a brand communicate what they're doing as quickly as you can. And then what new tech can you apply to it to help them expand their message a bit. So it's really fun because you always think it can be this plus this plus this. Yeah. Case in point, my little brother's started he's carrying on the tradition of this super fast, ridiculous project. He's just installed a 4-meter high robot at Wimbledon, which takes the telemetry data from court 1 and then replicates it within 1 second. So you are taking serves from Djokovic or whoever from court 1, and you can see how you could do against 130 mile an hour serves. And, sponsored by Vodafone, powered by 5G, but ridiculously interesting, difficult project.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, think about immersive experiences, and that's being able to replicate with great accuracy real life. That's something that a lot of people would love to experience.
Yeah, immersive is an interesting term. It's kind of moved away from, it was stolen by everyone in virtual reality. Say immersive experiences means VR headsets. And now it's kind of blended back to being more like experience economy. So lots of things can be immersive. A restaurant can be immersive, a theatre can be immersive, a headset can be immersive. But really it's storytelling where you are a participant and you're part of, what's being told to you.
What got you into the love of this? You're clearly very creative. What got you into it in the first place?
So I was always surrounded by like very freeform creative artists. I grew up as a new age hippie. So I lived in a bus until I was almost 10 years old, moving between Glastonbury Festival and Greenpeace marches. And all my parents are, musicians and circus performers and installation artists. So when we settled down, I started going to school. I rebelled and went really straight. No drink, no drugs, no rock and roll. I'm going to start a tech company. Yeah. They're so disappointed in me. I mean, they're not. But I didn't think I was rebelling, but, all teenagers rebel at some point. But I'd always had that entrepreneurial spirit when you're running market stalls or you're putting on shows or making bands happen. And I didn't only till recently realize that upbringing had given me quite a broad view of reality and a broad view of creativity. And so as I went through university and then had a broad selection of skills from filmmaking to games to interactive, when the company kind of came together, it just kind of made sense to use those new tools. And the first VR headset came out kind of 2014, and we got a good relationship with Oculus. I was kind of the first new medium, in my opinion, for a long time to help people you don't have to have a suspension of disbelief. Like when you make a movie, you're trying to make people forget they're in a movie theater. Well, this headset makes you believe what you're seeing is real. Case in point, walking along planks or high skyscrapers.
I literally was an acrobat. It's like tightrope walking along. I'm like, I'm actually going to fall. I mean, it's incredible. You had a go?
Not really. Not with a proper, a good quality headset. Wow. I've tried some basic ones, but...
The headset's important, but the thing you're seeing is important. If you watch a crappy B movie, it's still going to be a crappy B movie. If it's incredibly well made, it's going to be incredibly well made. And I think the quality of what's getting produced now is moving on. Everyone's moving beyond traditional headset into what they call mixed reality headsets, where you're wearing a headset, but it looks like we're in our world right now, like the Apple Vision Pro. And then you can add things into that reality. So we can add someone sitting across the desk from us, or we can add a dragon, or we can add a TV on that wall of any size, or you can replace the windows with, instead of a basement view, with the penthouse view. So I think there's a future where the headsets become glasses like these, and mixed reality becomes almost the future of humanity. Everyone will have them on to enhance their world, and it's going to disrupt just as much as everything else. It's going to disrupt so much of the standard businesses that we have and the standard products we have. You're not going to buy another TV. If you could have a screen on any surface of any size, Samsung and Sony aren't going to sell you one of those. They'll sell you the glasses instead.
Yeah.
And talking to you at the same time with the AI, looking at what you're seeing and it telling you the information about it. I mean, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, that's kind of where they are at the minute. So the screen stuff is taking a step back, and the AR glasses from Meta and HTC and Samsung are all very much headphones with a camera, if you think about it. But that then linked to your phone gives you access to be able to talk to it and ask it questions about your reality. What am I looking at? How do I cook this? How do I fix that? You kind of have it in your phone anyway. It's just moving it to somewhere a bit more tangible. But that is enhancing human intelligence, or augmenting it and changing it. There's a lot of challenges ethically at the moment about where the data goes, who stores it, who else is looking at it, do I consent to being filmed, which all need to be wrestled with.
So we love thinking and talking about how people's childhood experiences influence them as adults.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had a very non-traditional upbringing, possibly a non-traditional education.
No education, bus education for 10 years.
So when did you first realize that your upbringing was different from other children you were started to associate with? And what did that feel like?
It's really difficult when I started school. The tribe is the best way to think about it. It was a village raised, and I feel so lucky to have it, but family were all there, parents were all there, uncles and aunties were all there, and the group of kids kind of rolled around and you all kind of looked after. And most of the traditional upbringings we have now, where that family unit is pretty spread apart, we're almost an island on our own. We are now. Family all live far away. uncles and aunties live far away. So I feel really lucky to have had that upbringing where it was really, really like mum and dad were there all the time. But starting school was tricky. I was miles ahead in some things and miles behind in others. And I didn't really understand the laws of the playground, if I was honest. And so I'd get in trouble with teachers because I'd question them. Like, what do you mean? Why have I not got a gold star? They got a gold star. And so I was always getting in a bit of trouble. So it took me a while to kind of assimilate into society that way. But I feel that the benefits of more of a free-form childhood is that really kids just need to play a lot. And if you look at what Finland have got and Denmark have got, where they hold back traditional school for a lot later before putting them into the rigors of it, before making them, tested and judged and put through a process and given like hard and fast ways of learning, they have a better outcome and they're happier people. Was it Denmark's still on the highest happiest index for 10 years in a row or something crazy? So I think there's something about being given, allowing children to be children, allowing them to play more and allow them to be practical. I'm being very cognizant at the moment with my twins who are 7 to try and make sure that they don't have full access to technology. It's gonna come like a tidal wave, but they don't. They have one games console, but it's a Nintendo Wii from 15 years ago, and they've only got 2 DVDs like Mario Kart and Mario Brothers. Yeah. But I think that you need to have access to it, but you also need to go climb a tree, get muddy, start fires, throw sticks, like go and play.
How would they describe what you do for a living? Have you tried to describe that?
What do they think they say? I got an honorary doctorate last summer, and they consider me a doctor of cartoons.
Good.
Which is
it's a good title.
I think that's exactly. I am a doctor of cartoons. But no, I am. They know I make computer games, and they were designing little like 2D paper games the other day and saying, "Daddy, can we talk to one of the people at work so we can make this into a game?" Yes. So I think they know it. But it's really funny. I did this school assembly on Internet Safety Day a couple of months ago, and we talked about our fortnight work and our Wizard of Oz project for the Sphere and all of our TV commercial stuff. And then I said, well, the reason I'm here today is to say that internet safety is also about understanding that the internet is incredibly addictive, and we live in an attention economy where most of the smartest people in the world are writing the algorithms to keep your attention and make you play more, make you watch more. And the buffet approach to streamers, so Netflix and Disney and anybody else, it's not about quality anymore. It's about quantity. So they want you to watch 12 hours of something instead of one movie. Even though it's the same story, they've just made it last longer. So you lose 12 hours of your humanity to it. So I told all these kids that. And then this 12-year-old from the school sat me down for like a little Q&A like this. And he said, so how do you make, one hand you tell us you make all these amazing movies and games. How do you balance the commerciality of understanding the stuff you're making is really bad for kids? I loved it.
Jeremy Paxman.
That was brilliant. 12-year-olds. I was like, 1, that's why my kids are coming to this school. 2, you're absolutely right. Juggling the realities of this is really important. We can't stand by when we know something isn't right, and you have to start standing up for it and making changes. And the thing that I'm doing fundamentally for Seb and Theo and for as many as others is just to say, we're not going to get away from technology. We're not going to get away from doom scrolling. We're not going to get away from social media. It's going to be there. And even, this recent thing of doing a banning for under 16s, they'll just make their own platforms. They'll just vibe code something into their own way, and we'll lose access to like understanding what they're talking about. But you've got to talk to them like it's alcohol and drugs and anything else bad for you that exists in our society. And they are going to bump into it at times. Like, how much is it? Where did you get it from? Are you in a safe place? Are you doing too much of it? Do you want it? Like, you don't drink it all at once. But same with internet. Like, some of it's good, some of it's bad. Do you know who's on the other end of that messaging board? Do you know who you're playing with on Fortnite? Do you it's just educating them instead of hiding it away.
Have you found that your values have been tested and changed from when you were 10 to where you are today and thinking about the boys?
Yeah, absolutely. Having very little, if less than almost nothing growing up, but feeling happy and content with the environment I was in. It's really hard being alternative, actually, especially when the rest of society doesn't want you to be. They're kind of go, are you saying we're doing it wrong? No, we're doing it our way. In fact, we're kind of ahead of the game on climate change and, veganism and vegetarian and anti-war. And, my dad often says that. But when your view of the world is this broad, you can choose what you want to do within it. And there's a lot of flexibility in it. So I've chosen like this part. Whereas my partner as well was kind of very regimented. And so she's been, we'll say that, she was coming down, I was coming up, and we found a nice middle ground where we are too. But there's definitely, having sold my business kind of 4 or 5 years ago, there's definitely a tonal shift in the idea of, we were working hard to build a foundation for ourselves. And now with a little bit of financial freedom, we can build a foundation under my broader family. And so I try my hardest to kind of balance that out. But knowing full well that the money doesn't equal happiness, the money doesn't equal contentment. It is a tool to be used in the right ways. But however much you think is enough, the society and capitalism doesn't want you to be happy with what enough is. So I did a thing a few years ago trying to figure out that, especially with my partner, going, what's enough? Where are we aiming for? Like, I could be happy in a yurt in a field. Like, what do you think we should be having? So when we know where we're aiming for, and when we get there, we could stop. What about that was enough? Problem is when you get there, you go, oh, be nice to have a bigger house. Be nice to have a bigger car. Be nice to have the newest shoes. But you don't need any of them at all, if you're honest about it. They're just additional ways of like keeping consumerism moving forward. You have to find out what enough is. And I think it's one of, especially for founders and business owners, and even for families, give yourself a position in time. Describe what your house looks like, your car looks like, your holidays look like. Add that all up, and then know when you get there, give yourself a pat on the back and say, do you want to keep going? And one of the things I'm really hot on now is just making better use of our time. So not losing it to the internet, for one. But secondly, don't work Fridays anymore. If you can. Earn 20% less. Have 20% less income in your life. Take 20% less holidays, 20% less expensive shoes, whatever it is. Just take 20% off, but have a whole extra day of your own humanity under your own control. You could work again if you want to, but try and be a 4-day-a-week person instead of a 5-day-a-week person. Have 3 days of flexibility and freedom. But everyone fills up. Everyone thinks they have to have that extra 20%. But if you flipped it down, take one room off your house. Instead of having a 5-bedroom or 4-bedroom, go for a 3-bedroom, and you'll be fine. But you'd have this whole extra day of humanity.
Have you successfully achieved that?
Yeah, I have recently.
Okay.
I have flex. So yeah, don't work Fridays.
Okay. How's that felt? How's that transition been?
I mean, I've always had a lot of flexibility of what I do.
Yeah.
But the best thing was when my partner went for a new role, I just asked her, I said, when you're going through the front door, just say you don't work Fridays. I said, well, I won't get the job. I said, well, don't take it then. Like, they'll get a full week's work out of you anyway. And she said, well, what would I do on the Friday? I'm like, whatever you want. Like, we've burned bright for 20 odd years of our careers. Just, raise children. We're in this new stage. The next stage of life is not about working harder. It's about working smarter. And I think, it's tonally what I think everyone should be doing anyway, is just really take stock of what you want and what enough is. I think that, and I know well, working in the advertising space, we try and make you not actually happy so that you want to buy a new pair of shoes or to have a bigger car because then you'll be a happier person.
Yeah.
But actually, you don't need any of it. So if there's a good hypothetical experiment a buddy of mine gave me, it's like, think about all the stuff you've got. But if you lived on an island with your family, everything you want would be utility. None of it would be to do with status. He said, I bet you everything in your life is to do with status. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, try it. I was like, yeah. I did buy a slightly more expensive. I did buy that brand because it's not about utility. It's all about positioning. The few things you have which are truly utility, even then, I bought the Samsung washing machine instead of the other basic washing machine. I could have halved the price, but the brand had convinced me that if I got them, it was better for the planet or whatever else. So I think there's something about positioning what you do and why you do it, and finding the way of getting time back.
So has being acquired enabled you to take that approach, having the 20% and having that day back? Or have you had to stay in, and what's that looked like and felt like through that period?
It's only recent. So the not oversharing, but the earn out was a long one. And through that, you're trying to hand over the business and make sure it's stable, because they've acquired a whole business. There's a bunch of people and they need you to be around. If you haven't got an IP-led company where there's a thing that they've bought, they don't need you anymore. But if it's a bunch of humans and it's built off founders, they want to make sure you're there to see it through. So they buy it in the right way. And you work really hard to make sure that it really, really works. But moving from hippie kid with nothing to, stable family living in Hertfordshire to now, exited founder with a little bit of financial freedom, there is a different shift on it. And I've been really trying to figure out for me what my purpose is through that shift. Of the purpose was raise my first child, which is the company, to then having actual children. Now I have 3. And then to being like, no, my child's left home. It's not mine anymore. It's its own grown up. It's running itself. It doesn't need me anymore. You go, but it doesn't need me anymore. And what am I going to do next? And that's why this next phase is about, helping founders thrive, helping other people on their journeys, help them climb the mountain.
We think a lot about, obviously, purpose and how people find their purpose. And it's a difficult journey, right? And it can take time. And a business exit can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
We find founders go through a business exit and feel huge pride in what they've built and achieved. We find business owners who feel a bit lost and their identity has suddenly gone.
Yeah.
And often we find people who have a mix of a whole range of different feelings. How did it feel when the acquisition went through?
It feels really good at the start. It's incredible. Oh my God, we made it. Got across the finish. It's really hard. It's like a big old process and it's difficult. And then the second year you kind of go, oh, yeah, it's all changed. I don't have control. It's not my toy anymore. I'm sharing. And the third year you get kind of into a rut going, the things I want to get done aren't getting done in the way I want to do them. And you have to try and find your own route through and find the things you find purpose for. For me,
at that point at the moment, are you how many years in are you?
Oh, 5 now. So I'm on the upswing again because I've found my purpose, which is, helping other people thrive and survive. And I really, there's a book about finding your life's razor. Like, what is the thing you can cut through everything with? And I think mine is building communities that thrive. And it has been that since, hippie kid to school, to university, to first company, to helping other people. And it's like, that's what I've always done, whether it's for a business or for the local college or for universities that I'm helping out with at the moment. I'm on the board for 4 different universities to try and figure out how they adapt to the changing world of AI. So finding purpose is hard. But I started writing a book to help me find my purpose again. And it started off as something I called 52 lunches, where basically once a week I just buy someone lunch who I thought was smart and interesting. Nothing to do with biz dev or sales, other than just, oh yeah, that person's smart. Tell me about your life and how you got here and why you do what you do. And people kept going, sounds like a podcast. I'm like, it's not a podcast. It could definitely be a podcast, but it's not. And my buddy said, what is it then? I said, well, it's a collection of stories. He's like, that's a book. I was like, oh, it could be a book. So it's turning into a book about success and the changing definition of it through our lives. All of everyone's stories, the people you think are the most successful often feel not, for various reasons. And it's really interesting to unpack where our ideas of success have come from. Some people often, it's running away from a life they didn't have to try and build something new. Others, they're trying to, they had a great foundation, but they need to climb Mount Everest to prove mum and dad right or wrong that they don't do their own thing. But through that, I found a new purpose, which I realized is if I can collect all these ideas and all these stories, that the short version is, the book's coming out next year, I don't want to ruin it, but the short version is, when you're young, it's about money and career. When you're older, it's about contentment. And in the middle, it's about agency and control of time. And that change is natural. Sometimes it's a big parabolic arc from A to B. Sometimes it's linear. Sometimes it's inverse. Sometimes it's binary. Me. Kids. Oh, time. Dad died. It's all about family. And to know that that change is normal and is coming means that you can sit with what is success and what does it mean to you, and understand that it's going to change. And your definition is yours. Where you are at your moment in life is your definition, but that's allowed to change. And I think often people hook onto like, I must always have it as one thing. And whatever my thing is, if I tell someone else, oh, that's silly. What do you mean yours is about money? Well, it is at some points. You've got to build your own reality, and money helps you get there. And then later in life, it means nothing. No one on their deathbed goes, I wish I'd worked more. I wish I'd earned more money. They go, I wish I had a better relationship. I wish I saw my kids more often.
It's interesting, that framing. My brain's whirring away at the minute. No,
Imagine that, but a whole book.
I can't wait to read it. So money, first stage, time, and then contentment. Those are the 3 stages.
Yeah, agency in the middle.
And are there trigger points or catalysts that move you from one to another, do you think?
Yeah. So the first one is leaving home. So when young people, it's, like I said, running away from a life. Like, I need to prove myself. I need to build my own foundation where I'm not reliant on parents. So I need to earn money, and I need to have a career, and I need to get some momentum into me. And then the middle is usually around when you start thinking about having children, or having children in that midlife where you've done, 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 years of a career, and you're like, oh, I'm halfway through my career time. Is this all I'm going to do? Every day? The same job in the same way? Shit. Like, I like what I do, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So there's a tectonic shift. And some people, it's like have kids makes you move. Some people, it's like change career. Some people, it's like entrepreneurial seizure. Like, oh, I must start a company. Some people here may have like, oh, fuck, we should do our own thing. So let's do it. But you make a big change. And so that middle, and then that's you're controlling your time. I want to use my time to make my own company. I want to use my time to go to my kids' every sports day and every recital. I want to be able to have flexibility to see my dad more often, or do more cycling, or whatever the things are that you care about. And often if you're in a very regimented job, you start thinking about how to change your career or change your job to give you a bit more flexibility of your time. And I think time is the only thing of true value. I mean, everything else is kind of wrapped up by humanity making like rings and gold and diamonds and crypto important, when it really isn't. A finite amount of humanity is all we've got. And then the contentment thing is just as we begin to fade out, we have to begin towards the end of it, you begin to realize that all the stuff that is gone, you go, why no, I want to have good relationships, and contentment starts to lean in. And over the top of it, there's 2 sets of people I interview. Some that I say, what does success mean to you? And they go, I've never thought about it. I never had the chance to think about it. They've had blinkers on their reality for, their upbringing, their background, their reality, their flexibility, whatever the things are, but they've never really thought about it. And then the other ones are going, oh yeah, wow, I've done this. I went meditating. I know what I want to do. I've found my purpose. I read all the books. And those that are enlightened to understand that they can understand what success means to them, and they can define it, and they can know it changes, can do they can play the 2 games. One which is down here, earning money, paying taxes, getting a mortgage, taking the kids to school, like doing the thing. And then the other one is sticking your head above water and go, oh, it's all rubbish and made up. Like, it's all made up by other humans, no smarter than you and I. And it means nothing, really. Yeah, but I'll play a bit of it. But they can go between the 2 modes. Mm-hmm. And the book will be trying to wrap up all these stories from all these great people, celebrities and politicians, and the guy digging the road in front of my house, and Uber drivers and young people and old people, like just saying like the definitions of what success needs to be thought about. And if I'm honest about it, it's not about success, it's about the meaning of life. But you can't ask people, what do you think the meaning of life is? So
it's a big question.
Yeah. So start with success. People can define that a bit easier. What does success mean to you? I'd love to answer. Go on, tell me.
For me, it's all wrapped up in reliability. So I have a huge value of reliability, being there, showing up whenever I say I'm going to, and for whomever it is at that point in time. You just.
I'm sorry I missed the recording last week.
No, you're fine. You said earlier about, people who leave that corporate and then set up a business. I mean, we are the epitome of those people.
Yeah.
Right? And that was driven by, for me, showing up for my kids and being able to be there for them whenever they needed me.
Yeah.
And that, and it's the same in business. Hopefully Ollie says the same thing. But I am there to deliver. I know my role. I'm happy to go outside of my role. I will probably encroach on other people's roles, but I'm there to be reliable. And that's what my version of success looks like. Is that anybody else would say, she shows up.
Yeah. It's measurable. It's quite nice as well. You can measure where 100% of the things I turned up, or I'm 97% reliable. But I can stat that. I quite like that.
Yeah. And on the deathbed, then you're lying. I wanted to show up for people.
Yeah.
I've hopefully showed up for people, and people are hopefully showing up for me.
Yeah. How about you, Ollie?
It's a really interesting question. I was just thinking, my mind was going as you were talking. I think for me, I have a very strong value around autonomy. I really value autonomy. I value independence, and I value having options. So being in a world where I have options is success for me in lots of ways. But more internal than that, I think it's about knowing myself as much as I can do. And it takes a long time, and there's no substitute actually for time in that process. You can't shortcut that. And you do, I think in your middle age, you do start to have more realizations and more insights. And whether you're on that journey with a therapist or a partner or friends or just yourself in your internal world, I think that's a place I've always wanted to get to. And I think that's probably
good answers. No wrong answer.
Yeah.
And it's some of the interviews I do, people think it's a trap. I'm like, there's no trap. There's no one listening. It's just me and you here. There's no wrong answer. But I think people think there is, or they've heard there is, or they've heard, other people's self-help books, and they get themselves stuck in a thing of what they think they should be, forgetting they should just be themselves.
So do you know what? My sister's a dietitian. And she said the big bugbear that she has is that people come to her and find out she's a dietitian at a party or something. Yeah. They'll say, what should I be eating? She says everyone knows what they should be eating. But they want to hear like a secret shortcut. And they want to hear, actually, you don't need to eat broccoli, you need to eat this, whatever. Chocolate's fine, red wine's fine. Yeah. She's like, everyone knows the facts. And I think the sort of industry around self-help, people love this idea of here's a shortcut, here's a hack. And some of those things can be valuable, but none of them are a substitute for time and what it takes, and what personal growth genuinely looks like.
Yeah,
I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think just building on that, there's a school system, especially in the UK, is really tricky. So we train our children to be factory workers, and we sit them regimented, and they sit by the clock, and they do their things, and they have to pass an exam. They don't get an opportunity often to fail. And even if they do fail, we tell them they're allowed to fail and fail forward. But the school system doesn't want that, because if you don't get an A, then you're not going to the next level. You're not going to the next level. And we've put this intrinsically into, what kids think they should be, and forgetting that every human's going to be different. You have to play the game. If you want to play the game, get involved. But then you can make some really practical decisions of, you can live in a van, you can live in a yurt, you can live in Scotland, you can move to South, you can be anywhere you want. You don't have to be in central London in a very expensive flat and trying to chase money to have a Ferrari. Because, what was it Steve Jobs said on his deathbed? He was the richest man in the world back then. And he's like, a $3,000 watch or a $30 watch both tell the time. Like, the most expensive car in the world and the cheapest car in the world get you from A to B. And he was like the biggest brand in the world back then. But I think so much of it is being able to, especially for what you guys do with purpose-led wealth, there's an understanding of what does the money do for you that actually moves the needle in the things that are important. Maybe it's going to philanthropy, maybe it's like not get a bigger house, go the other way. Take all that and put it into a place where the money now works for you in a different way, and you haven't just spent it all on some giant shiny object which nobody cares about. What was the thing the other day? Like the classic line of, whenever you see someone driving a fancy car, they think you're looking at them.
Yeah.
You're not. You're thinking about you driving that car.
Yeah.
You don't think about the person in it at all. You just go, oh, I wonder what I would look like if I was in that car. And I don't think that person in that car is any better at all. But we think buying a shiny thing is a way of showing off, status and positioning, but it's actually not. There's a good Jimmy Carr line. He's gone into self-help, which I think is amazing. He said, when you in your 20s, you think everyone's looking at you or thinking about you. In your 30s, you think when you're 20s, you worry what other people are thinking about you. In your 30s, you don't care what other people think about you. And in your 40s, you realize no one was thinking about you at all.
That's so true, isn't it?
No one's actually at all.
No one's interested.
No, it doesn't. No, they've all got their own lives going on, right?
Yeah.
What I find really interesting about this is the parallel that fits underneath what everyone's view of success is, runs from experience. So how we feel about money is generally driven by how we have been taught to feel about money by our parents, for example. What we believe to be success is generally underpinned by probably a value that we either didn't see displayed or did see displayed really, really well.
Yeah.
I wonder how that comes through in the conversations that you're having. It certainly comes through in the conversations we have around purpose of wealth. What I want to do with it, what I want it to facilitate for me is generally driven by something I've either seen or I have been missing. Is that the same in the book, that success is driven by what people have either experienced or missed?
Yeah. So the next question after what does it mean to you? I say, what did an 18-year-old version of you say was success? And you let that ruminate for a bit. And you go, why? I was 18, I was great, I was young, blah, blah, blah. And then you go, what did your mum and dad tell you what success was? And that opens up that Pandora's box for a minute. And before you go, you just go back a few generations and you realize that often, like you say, there is either an undercurrent of being told what being successful is, and it can come back in a often not a really positive way. It's like forced upon you. Either like your parents worked really, really hard and they don't want you to have the same life. So they really push and pressure you through academia to go and be successful, go be a lawyer, go and make go get the thing, go get the money. When actually all you wanted to be was a vet or whatever, pick your other career you want to be in. And it's actually quite a negative thing connected to it. It takes a long time to unpack. No, I'm doing it for someone else. A good friend of mine, he's changed his career 5 times now. And every time, it's leveling up from physicist to mathematician to teacher to lawyer to doctor to surgeon. He's only got astronaut and fireman left. Or whatever. And it's because it's really hard to prove his parents to make them proud. There was a driving factor from underneath. So you're absolutely right. The success has often comes from our upbringing, and breaking that mold or having the ability to not do it for somebody else. And again, not do it for status. And even the status is showing to your mum and dad that you've done well. And, the big house with the big gates, maybe trying to prove something to somebody when actually you don't need it. I'd rather go back to agency and time again. Having more flexibility to do the things you want to do and not chase the giant, massive house, I think is way more important. And if you try and unpick who are you trying to prove this to, you are successful. You're healthy. You've got a good family. You have a roof over your head. Everything else is a nice to have, really. Yeah. But no, there's definitely parallels from it. And what it seems to come from is there is an intrinsic or extrinsic forces on telling you what success is. And then you stick this massive pressure cooker of westernized capitalism over the top of it to be continuously sold new stuff. New trainers, bigger car, shinier thing. If you have this stuff, you'll be more successful. If you have the newer thing. So it is everywhere around us selling us to consume more, to earn more, to work harder. Otherwise, you're not successful.
I remember reading Yuval Noah Harari's stuff, the Sapiens and Homo Deus, and I was really struck by this idea that it's completely new to me, but the idea of growth and things getting better tomorrow or the next day is quite a modern concept. Go back 200 years, no one particularly thought that next year is going to be better than this year, whereas now we're always focused on growth from a political and macro level down to the personal. We want to have a better car, bigger house, whatever that thing is.
Even on school reports, it says growth mindset.
It does.
Yeah. And I wonder whether or not that choice and that the aspirations just make us less happier as a society, right? And I don't know whether that's true or not, but you can see the link.
Yeah. Happiness is an interesting one. A fair number of people have asked, when I say what's success, they say happiness. And I've had to really in the early interviews, I was like, yeah, that
Sounds
resonates.
nice. Yeah.
And then you go, no, that's not, because you're not always happy. And in fact, humans are full of complex emotions. And if you're saying that that's the only successful metric, then 3/4 of your life is not success, because I'm frustrated and I'm annoyed and I'm melancholy and I'm sad. These are all normal. So you have to reframe what happiness is and where happiness comes. Happiness is a great thing, bit of dopamine in the brain to say these things are good for you to exist, like friendship, love, relationship, having children, eating nice foods, that's why it kicks around. Actually, slight sidebar, but I was talking to a friend about building businesses. This current thing of always have real good cultures, being really good to your employees, making sure your employees are as happy as you can be. And he says, it's really tricky to balance that. I said, well, if it was shown that if I made them miserable and it made me more money, I would do that. But it doesn't. Making them happy makes you more money. So practically, it's a win-win. So keeping people happy, keeping people positive, and for work is what we need. But flip of it, miserable people, not miserable, sad, anxious, scared, depressed, low people spend more money. So for capitalism, it actually doesn't want happy people because they don't spend as much. And if you look at, it's slightly conspiracy theory, but if you look at it, most of the TV programming from most of the streamers are very drama, horror, thriller, there's not a lot of
anxiety provoking.
Yeah. And if you happen to own the biggest store in the world and you also have the TV stuff, after they've finished watching the scary thing, maybe they'll go and buy some stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting because you do have to feel both. I was reading with my daughter Isadora Moon this week, and she goes to a well and wishes to be always happy. And these nymphs make her always happy. Yeah. And then she's in school and one of her friends falls over and she's really happy about it. And everyone's like, what are you doing? That's really unkind. And her mum picks up on the fact that she's always happy, so takes her back to said well and says to the nymphs, you have to have every feeling to know that you are feeling happy. And that comes with that. You have to know every feeling to also feel successful or know what you place value on from a success perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, and anyone who's been through any trauma in their life or any therapy in their life knows this, but there's a barometer of your happiness index. The best thing in your life is 100%, and the worst thing is minus 100. And for a long time, you think it's actually not a percentage scale. You just think it's numbers. So you can be 228 happy or 300 happy or 400 happy. And so I thought there's people that are happier than I am, or there's people that are sadder than I am. But actually it's a percentage scale. The best and the worst thing that ever happened to you is but it doesn't make it bigger or smaller. It's just that when you line it up with someone else's, theirs fits within or outside of your scale. And so the worst, I'd always get it with students going, oh, the worst thing in the world, I just broke up with my boyfriend or girlfriend. And you're like, it's not the worst thing in the world. But do you know what? To you, I bet it does feel like the worst thing in the world right now, because it is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. There may be in the future things that make this seem very insignificant, but I totally get why you feel like that. But only through time do you begin to have that perspective on those feelings. And that comes with, our life, our career, our friendships, our, kids and everything else. And kids actually make you reframe the whole thing again.
Yeah.
I can't believe how quickly this conversation's gone.
Oh, sorry.
I would love to carry on speaking. I'm looking at the clock and I was like, how did 45 minutes go back so quickly? Thank you for this.
Oh, pleasure.
It's been a really insightful conversation. we always sort of ask what advice you'd give to your younger self. Take the soul aged,
or even the boys,
15, 16, or boys. Yeah, what would you give?
I think that I've stolen it from Jimmy Carr as my like North Star. Someone asked him what the meaning of life is, and he just said it's 5 words: enjoy the passage of time. That's all you have to do. Doesn't mean have the most perfect, most amazing life. You don't have to be like maxing it out. It's just enjoy it. And the passage of time is all we've got from A to B. And so if you're not enjoying it for whatever reason, change it, And it could be your career, it could be your life, it could be everything else. I extend it a little bit. I just say to try to enjoy the passage of time with those you love. And I think that's the advice I give my kids.
I told you, one not to be missed. Thank you so much, Sol. This has been amazing.
Thanks for your time.